Feed me. Feed me more. Feed me more. Feed me more. Feed me more. The Ryback Show starts now. Welcome to the Ryback Show. Live, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, the big guy Ryback. That StreamYard camera's up close today. I don't know what controls that camera to sometimes zoom in, to sometimes just be out normal. But we are zoomed in today, oddly. We are live on TikTok and Instagram, the big guy Ryback 22. Thank you guys for joining me on those platforms. We are live on Ryback TV over on YouTube. Super chats are greatly appreciated and brought up on the screen, guys, in between taking calls here on X Spaces, Twitter Spaces. Guys, the People's Podcast, health, fitness, supplementation, pro wrestling, sports, and anything and everything in between right here, guys. MMA, UFC, you name it. We had that this weekend. We'll talk about all of that. Guys, we are live on Twitch at Ryback Rules, live on Twitter at the video format at Ryback on X Twitter here as well. But if you want to call in at Ryback on X Spaces, guys, join in. You'll see it at the top of my profile that we are live on Spaces. Click into that little box in that forum, and you can hit that request to speak if you would like to come on this show at any point and time. This show's available on all podcast platforms. iTunes reviews are greatly appreciated. Not save 15%. That's next. Stupid. iTunes reviews are greatly appreciated. If you leave a star rating and would like to. I had a Greek yogurt before this, and I feel like I used some mouthwash, but I don't feel like I'm able to articulate as well yet. I feel like I have the Greek yogurt in my mouth slightly. We're going to take a swish of the Finish It BCAAs. We're live. We take a moment, guys. All right. This show is brought to you by Feed Me More Nutrition, my premium supplement line, sweetened with stevia and monk fruit. No harmful artificial sweeteners or colors for all people, men and women. He, she, and thee. FeedMeMore.com. Save 15% signing up for a massive savings email and text message program. Guys, on the menu bar on FeedMeMore.com, click on that little hamburger menu bar. Scroll down to the newsletter text message. Sign up for each. One big message, one big savings every week. One big message, one big email, and one text message, guys. My thought of the week, or just a text message with the huge savings. But right now, for all orders right now, guys, here for a limited time, I'm giving you not only a free shaker bottle with your orders, I'm giving you a free tub of my Finish It BCAA Electrolyte Matrix, the raspberry lemonade flavor. It will pop up when you add your items to your cart. You'll see a pop up. It'll say, do you want the BCAA in the shaker bottle for free? You just click on that box and say, yes, I do. And it will be added to your order. No charge. Compliments of the big guy, Ryback. FeedMeMore.com, all the Ryback merchant, everything else. All things Ryback with the best supplements on the planet. FeedMeMore.com. Oh, good to see all of you guys. Hello, Walter, Double W. Good to see you, buddy, again. Hope everything is well. Everything is fantastic over here. Thank you very much. I appreciate everybody saying, please come back to wrestling, guys. Appreciate hearing that every day. Thank you. Even on poster things that have nothing to do with wrestling at the time, but thank you. I know that you trust in me and believe in me to do the right thing, and that I can listen to my body and overcoming the impossible. So I trust that you will continue to have patience in that, because I continuously am doing better and better and making significant progress, and everything is going to be just fine. Hello. All right, let's get going. TikTok as well. Appreciate all the love and support over there on TikTok. Taking a quick little zoom. I couldn't see the number in there. Today we're going to start off with a question on TikTok, actually. Do you think Trinity will come back to WWE? I don't know. I think she's a very good person as well, and she understands what that environment is. She's had to deal with a lot of her own things, as everyone who is in that environment does. I think ultimately, I think it would come. You know, I wouldn't be shocked if she doesn't. If she ever did, I feel like it would have to do with her and John, uh, Jimmy Uso, as they're married. I feel like that would, if it would have to be something with that, if they for whatever reason they wanted to spend more time with each other, but he's making great money, she's probably making good money doing what she's doing, and probably her life would probably be better outside of that environment. I'm going to say significantly better, as most people's lives are with all of that. So I think Sophie, I think that I would be shocked if she did anytime soon with that. So got the French bulldog. Oh, Sophie, we're doing a live show. You're not a guard dog. Sophie, you're a Frenchie. You don't even know how to bite. Calm down. Everyone hears your little roughs. They're not threatening. You're a French bulldog. You're not. No. I know. The door just opened. You're going to lie. Come here. You don't know how to fight. You're not even a guard dog. Okay? All right. Monday shenanigans here on the Ryback Show. Sophie's very, very, very territorial of the Rybackville home. But she's the most loving dog in the world, and she doesn't even know how to bite. She likes to chase the birds. She wouldn't know what to do with the birds if she ever got one. But it's in there. You'd probably be great at catching little rats on like the Titanic, or in like big buildings. That's what they say you guys were bred for, Sophie. Did you know that? Should we get some little mice and let them run around the house and let you chase them? Huh? Okay. With that, but yeah, I don't know. I don't think we can expect to see her there anytime soon. But never say never. You never know. All right, let's get going. Get some calls on this show here. Sophie's doing great, for everybody wondering as well. She doesn't even know that she was ever injured, which I have to remind her of daily as she tries to be a dog, quite frankly. We've got E-Man here. Let's get E-Man on the show. What E-Man has to say today. E-Man, welcome to the Ryback Show.
Yo, what's going on? You hear me well?
I can hear you. What's going on?
Hey, man, I just have one question. How was it like to main event SummerSlam in 2010? And what was your reaction to the outcome of the match?
So your question was, how did it feel to main event SummerSlam during 2010, which was the Team Nexus versus Team WWE with that? It was unbelievable. I think that was it's an accomplishment in its own for all of us to be so young and so early on in our careers, to be thrust into that position, to close out a pay-per-view, and everybody involved hit a home run. Personally, I know we were all excited because we all came from FCW together. We all were in the developmental territories, various ones, some of us, and we were all, we went from competing against each other to having to unite and get on the same page really quickly, and then get on the same page, and then all have to. You got to remember, when you're put in that position, we were main eventing all the live events, all the TVs. We're involved in multiple segments every single night being featured hard. So there was a lot of animosity and jealousy probably amongst, guys that had been on the roster, and seeing a group of 7 guys just get thrust into the main event. So I think, and you just know by how things, and no one's like ever overly mean or anything like that, but it's like, you're up to fend for yourselves. And like, if any one of us would have like not been up to par, like we all had to like deliver with that. And we were all very early on, and not all of us, like a lot of us hadn't done any main event stuff our whole careers with it. And I think almost outside, I'm trying to think. I don't think any of us were involved, like outside of FCW doing some main event matches, but like none of us were ever like in the main event position. And most people in developmental aren't. It's a very, really weird thing. Oftentimes the people that are used even in main events and developmental aren't used in main events on up there. There's no rhyme or reason that they like with how it used to be with all of that. So we were all like, for the first time, kind of just, main event. And Jericho, I told you, had pulled us aside and just said like, don't F this up. You guys are getting the opportunity of a lifetime. most of you probably will never touch the main event ever again. And he's like, I'm not doing that to like be mean. He goes, it's just the way this business is. He goes, the odds of the 7 of you all making it in the main event, are like little to none. He goes, maybe a couple of you, but it was which me and Wade were the two that had probably the bigger runs of everybody in there, even though everybody did great in their own way. And Heath had a hell of a run. And with that, and it is what it is with all of that. But for me, it was really cool to be in the match with Bret Hart, having my guy I grew up watching and one of my favorites growing up, taking a chair shot from him. He played a part in me getting eliminated out of the match. And, I got a couple eliminations in that match as well, where they featured me in a pretty positive light before getting eliminated. And it was a really cool experience, man. Very, 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 very cool experience. I think we were all a little bit surprised when we got told that the finish, because I think we were all led to believe that, you guys have heard the stories on Jericho and Edge talking about that what the finish was supposed to be, with Nexus going over and Cena not wanting to put us over with that. And it's a true story with all of it. And, at the same time, and I always look at this, John was still early on in his career main eventing and getting all that money. At the end of the day, it's Vince's fault. As far as it's Vince's company too, but if something like Cena is allowed to have his opinion, Cena's allowed to be protective of his spot with that. At the end of the day, it's Vince's company. He has to be the one that goes, no, this is better for business in this storyline. Because ultimately Cena was going over at at the end of the angle. That wasn't the end of the angle. So that was a really important match with all of us. And, but I think all of us were shocked because from what we were led to believe going in and that day being at the building. And me and Wade, I just remember we had talked, and as we always did, and Vince, that was after communicating and talking to him, that was what he wanted. And none of us were in any position to argue, and nor would we with that. And because you don't really know where the angle's going, you're just going day to day with all of that. And but it was I just think it was, you go out and you do what is asked of you. But I do think that hurt the momentum of the group. And then obviously kicking Darren Young out and then me getting injured that whole next week and being gone, it kind of fell apart overall from the group to then. I think it just was never the same. And I think any of the guys would say that. And it was tough watching at home being hurt. And I felt very guilty for a long time. I still do, still bothers me with that, but everything happens for a reason, and and life moves on with it. And the group, we made a great impact. We had a hell of a run in a very short period of time. It's memorable. People I know ask Wade about it all the time with it, and never say never as far as all of us. You never know with anything in this world with that, but and I'm sure people would love a reunion, and not just a reunion. And I've talked and joked about different scenarios with it, and it's I think there's major money still in the group used in the correct way. And even if it was a one-time appearance, I do think it's something really special could be done with that from a storytelling standpoint. But yeah, it was really cool, man. And everybody was great. Jericho was great. Edge was great with it, and then Cena. And then I tell you, because so we got to remember too, we were 7 guys from NXT that essentially nobody cared about, right? And they cared about us because we attacked Cena. So at the end of the day, when you always look back at it, it's like when you start, you're getting the rub from main talents with that. So that played a huge role in people getting us heat, right? We're taking out the main guys repeatedly with things, whereas we didn't have to work our way up or anything like that. So you look at it, and you can look at it from his perspective as well. Well, he's the one in the position that the company is in the main spot, right? He still was very early on. He knows how that can go sometimes. Vince can get really excited over new people really quickly. So who's to say and not to say he did the right thing with that. And I do believe he would have been better off putting us over and then getting us back, picking us off one by one. That was the plan, was the group beats him. And then he comes and he works his way up the Nexus, which probably would have been me second to last, Wade last, based off of how the rankings of the group, how we were being used with that, or somewhere in that vicinity, or me, then PJ possibly, and then Wade could have also been a scenario. PJ, Justin Gabriel's being used very well. They were very high on him as well, which I think him and Wade were the last two in the match for that, if I remember correctly. So, but yeah, man, it's just, it's the way things go with all of it. So.
Thanks for having me on the show.
You're welcome, brother. Thank you. Forgot E-Man was still there. Sorry, I had you on. Very long-winded answer, but I was trying to give you all the little, just reliving the memories of the whole situation with that. Oh, Big Sausage in the house. We're gonna get him on 1 second, Shawnee. We've got Karen. I think a new caller here. Hello, Karen. Welcome to the Ryback Show. What is your complaint?
I got a question about tonight being the final night of Vince's control over WWE and your thoughts on that.
Is that so? Is the Endeavor deal set to go through then starting tomorrow to be finalized?
Sounds like it from what I'm seeing on social media.
I wasn't aware. Maybe that I would guess if you're seeing that, then that would probably signal that the Endeavor deal is done and finalized either today, probably today, or tomorrow first thing. And that, but he's still in the top position, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, tonight's supposed to be his final night controlling Raw, and then as of tomorrow, everything with WWE, Vince doesn't control it.
Well, I think he still does control it. I think he is still in full control. Endeavor, because they're not going to be doing the operations or the creative or anything there. They're just overseeing, essentially. They're just the owner of them in UFC. Like Dana's running UFC and Vince is running WWE, from everything that I understand. So I don't think anything changes. I think it literally is just, it's all paperwork. And then I know the TKO stock, I know is going, it either went live today or tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken, once this deal is finalized, for both the UFC and WWE brands being under that TKO ticker symbol. So I think everything's going to remain exactly as is.
Okay, yeah, I was just surprised when everything is merging tomorrow.
Yeah, I don't think there's going to be any changes though with it. Like, I think because with the way they have it all set up, I think the one difference is, I think what we may start seeing is releases and new signings. I think that maybe has been on hold while all this is going on. Now that that's all over, I think that we're going to start seeing more people getting signed or released, or a combination of both.
And possibly new creative ideas.
I don't think anything's going to change in the format of the company. I think everything that's set is set. Like, whatever, and new creative ideas are always going to be thought of. But I don't think anything really drastically is going to change, like, other than possible releases and new hires. I think the product is going to kind of remain. Nobody's like going to be coming in and telling Vince what to do right now. Like, they're letting him run the company. They know, like, they trust that he's gotten them this far, that from everything that I understand, and with the position that he's in, that like nothing significant is going to be shaken up on that end, at least not yet.
Either way, I'm ready for changes.
What kind of changes?
Like seeing new people come in and see what can they do differently. Hopefully, like, maybe start letting some of the wrestlers go train over at UFC or something like that.
So you want to see wrestlers go training at UFC?
Yeah, it has been done before.
As far as how? With what?
Brock has went to UFC. Jack Swagger went to UFC under AEW.
Oh yeah, well, Swagger went to Bellator. I don't think they're going to be I don't think there's going to be a big crossover with any of that right now. Not to say that they can't have, maybe. I think maybe with fighters wanting to come into wrestling, I think that possibly there's, with Endeavor owning them, that maybe can bridge the gap a little bit. But at the end of the day, there's still, I don't think you're going to see, unless it's something a wrestler wants to do on their own, is something. I don't think you're going to see a bunch of that personally.
It was just a thought, but either way.
No, you never know. You never know. But I don't think I think the products are going to remain separate with all of that moving forward. And like I said, I do think that there may be. I think the releases and the hiring I think is going to be back in full force here with everything now when the deal is done. So
Yeah, that's the only thing I thought of today.
all right, Karen. Well, thank you very much for calling in. I hope you have a great day.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you very much, Karen. Looks like a new caller there. Let's get the big sausage, Sean. Shawnee, happy Monday.
What's your complaint? I'm fucking dead, bro. I'm fucking dead. Yo, I don't know if people understood that reference, but I was fucking dying, bro.
I can't see. I don't get the I don't. It's not a sitcom, so I don't get the laughter right away on the. I just look at the little emojis if people make the little laughing emojis, and I know
That's
something's
why
good
when
enough.
I'm on, people know I laugh, so they'll know that. Like you're the type of guy. Like your humor is like you'll say a joke and you'll keep a straight face.
Yeah.
Like I am the opposite of that. I will laugh while I tell the joke. Happy Monday, big guy. How you doing?
Oh, brother, great day. I'm.
I knew you were gonna love that sandwich. I knew you were gonna love that burger, man.
I forgot about the little tortilla bites on it for the people. There's a new feeding time. I did the Wendy's loaded nacho cheeseburger, chicken sandwich, and their queso fries. Brother, all three were outstanding, but the burger was a little better than the chicken for me. And the queso fries,
I haven't had the chicken yet, big guy.
So good still because they have great chicken sandwiches, juicy, but the burger for whatever reason was just a tad better. And I don't know, maybe it was because I had it first and it was like, but just I love nachos and I love burgers, and they combine the best of both worlds. And as I'm eating it, like I just the little tortilla bites like came through, and I forgot all about them.
The crunch, right? Like
it was so satisfying. And I go in the video, and it's just like this is just there's this girl that I know. We used to go out. She messaged me. She watched. I posted the burger on TikTok and Instagram, and she watched the whole thing. And she like messaged me. She goes, "I'm going to get one like right now." She goes, "By the way," she's just like, "I love you. You're so funny, and you don't even." She goes, "When you said that it has little tortilla bites, unbelievable." And like. I was legit and like amazed at the tortilla bites. Unbelievable. Like just in the moment, nothing else, like thinking of nothing else. And that was her favorite part.
You were actually very quiet on this one. I was surprised. Like, that's how I knew it was so good, because you barely spoke in the video, which I was like, wow, that's how good it was.
No, but I'm also though, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying something different. I had the microphone, my ASMR microphone plugged in so that the crunches.
That's right. We talked about
this. Yes, and so I said less in the video. I'm going to see how videos perform with me saying less on the feeding time, because even though those used to be my best performing videos and still overall are, but they're nowhere near the views that I used to get on them. And that I talked on all of them, and that was always just. And I know that that's not what's going on, but I go maybe. If I talk on the show and the shows, I have so much talking on the channel. I go, maybe I could start tapping into that ASMR for people, because a lot of people that watch ASMR videos for the food and for the sound, they don't want to hear. They want to hear the least amount of talking. Yeah. Yes. So I'm thinking I'm going to try this and just see, because I have nothing to lose trying it.
Of course, yeah.
And seeing, and then also it makes it easier doing the video and talking more. I go, how can I? And just talk about the food until the end. I'll do my plugs at the end, but just talk about the food where I go, because I'm talking about my life and everything else on all the other stuff.
Yep.
So I go, at least make that the little different now that I'm doing all this. Because before I wasn't doing all the different content. That was the content. And then I go, so I would talk on it, but I go, I'm talking about the stuff already. I don't need to talk again about it, So.
Yep.
So good.
So I was curious. So I looked up Bree because I figured like, oh, why not? Like, I know that you said she done some podcasts before. Can you hear me, big guy?
I can hear you. Yep.
Oh yeah, sorry. So I know you said that. So I looked her up. She was on Barstool. Like, she did. Like she did like, I guess like it was like a show to get a job at Barstool or something.
And she was very close. I thought I think, and I haven't talked to her in full detail about it, but from my memory, she's brought it up. She was like I think it was like almost a lock that she was going to be on it, and like something happened.
Second to, I think she was second to the winner.
Yeah,
you know?
So that's why another reason she's super talented and her personality. She just started. She's doing another sports podcast here in Vegas. I posted, and I think it's like this veterans MMA show because she loves the MMA, so she's like knows a lot, like just from being a fan and watching that. So
I could tell,
but they're bringing her in because obviously she's beautiful. So
of course,
the clickbait of, but then she can actually, she's funny and has a good personality.
She knows her stuff. It's not just that she's a pretty face.
Yeah. So but I told her, I go, because that's why I wanted her to do the food thing with me. Is I go, I know she can talk, and I like once she gets comfortable or like with people or she's doing something, she's really funny with that. So I go, I told her though, I go, yeah, I think she's going to end up doing something pretty big eventually with all of it because she's that's why she moved out here to be closer to the UFC and get more opportunities. So
that's right, because there's a lot of the UFC is
it's all here, the Performance Center, and then all the shows, and then she's going to be doing 2 shows out here a week on the podcasting, and then like she's got her job, great. She's getting another one and looking for like a more of a full-time thing, but yeah, I think she's got a car. Awesome, she gets her car tomorrow, so I told her, I was like, you could literally just chill here until you get everything figured out. Until
that's right, because you know what I think it takes so much balls to move into like a city you don't know.
That's why I like her. Like I told her that I go the fact that she literally just up and moved with her family and everything, and she's 30, and I just said I go, and like she was living out of hotels until she got it figured out, but she just goes, I got to get here, and like I just go, she just packed everything and left. And I was like,
man, it takes so much to just up and leave, man, it's crazy. I just want to shout out. There's a listener that always listens, big guy. His name is like Zygarde on here. You know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
So his name is Jack. His grandfather passed away, and I just wanted to say that's why he didn't make it today. So I just wanted to say, rest in peace to your grandpa.
Likewise, that's very unfortunate, and I'm very sorry to hear that. That's.
Yeah, I just want to. He listens every day, so I just wanted to, give him that shout.
I do, I know the name. The 2 today being 9/11 with everybody, and condolences to everybody. It's crazy. It was 2001, correct?
I was just gonna bring that up.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yep. 20. It's been 20. What is it? 21. 22 years.
22 years with that.
I remember it like it was yesterday, and
me too.
I'm gonna tell you my story, and then if you want, I would like to hear yours as well. So when it happened, it was such a beautiful morning. That morning, I'll never ever forget. I was like 12 years old, and we were on our way to school. It was like breeze in the air. Like one of those fall mornings, big guy, where it's like nice and like cool in the morning, but then in the day it gets hot. It was like one of those days, and we go to school about second period. Like we see the teachers like all flustered, and like the kids are like, "What's going on?" Like like literally like there was teachers crying and everything, and we're like, "Well, what's going on?" Blah blah blah. Finally, we like found out, not through the teachers, like through someone else, the next period about what happened. I think the principal had come in or something and told us, and a lot of people's parents came and picked them up. But my dad was a cop, and my dad was actually off duty, and he actually went down there. He ran down as soon as he heard it happen. And my mom was at work, and she couldn't leave work. And back then, there were no cell phones, right? So my dad ran down, and I'll never forget that whole day. You couldn't make a call because the phone lines were just jammed with people calling and stuff. So, like, we didn't even know how my dad was. Like, I was crying myself because I'm like, well, like, why did that go down? I didn't realize until later why he did it, obviously.
Yeah.
But he So where I remember the whole class being so upset, and I was always such a class clown. I made up this like story about an alien living in this shoebox. Like and I stood up in front of the class and like made people laugh because like I hate to see people sad. Like I just hate it, and then I went home, and a couple of people had in my class, their parents had passed away. They worked in the towers, and a couple of cops my dad was friends with, and firemen my dad was friends with passed away. And after that, my dad was on I think it was like over a year. They would have to go, and it was in the Staten Island dump. So in Staten Island, there's a garbage dump, like a huge place where all the garbage goes. And they had a whole bunch of cops that had to go through for bodies and things like that. And he did that. And a lot of people end up getting cancer from it. And my dad's included. He got 2 bumps in his neck. Thank God he got it out, and he's okay now. But
was that just from everything, all the different?
Yeah, that was from all the smoke and stuff that they inhaled that day.
The chemicals, everything that's involved with all that.
Everything, man. Like, you see how black that smoke was? That was
all that
like,
the buildings had been there, anything, like just things,
Oh, my God, man. It's so scary, the footage, and, like, it's crazy. But what was your day like, big guy? You remember?
I was in college. I think it was my freshman year in college. And I remember it was freshman or sophomore year in college. What would have been? Yeah, either way, I remember I was at home still because it was earlier. I'm on West Coast time, so I had the news. I had the TV on, and they like whatever the TV channel was on before I left to school. It broke to the news going on, and so like I watched it all play out like real time, just from at home and in shock. And my dad, was sleeping and got him up, and we're just sitting there watching. And I had to go to school. My classes in the afternoon, and so I went to them, but they just kept the footage on in all the classes, and so we know school that like everybody's just watching what's going on and like talking about it, and it was weird because like I'm all the way on the other side of the country, so it really, but I just remember nobody understanding like were we going to have terrorist attacks everywhere?
Like how significant it was, and who did it, and like. I remember there was kids, they were beating up, it's so crazy how kids think, but like in middle school, they were literally beating up like the Arab kids that were in our class. And I'm like, what are you guys doing? Like, are you stupid? Like they have nothing to do with this. Like, and things like that. And I like people being so passionate, but some of the, as such as it was the worst day ever, but so many amazing things came after that. Like, meaning like to see everybody come together as a country, and everybody was flying their American flags, and Mike Piazza hit that home run, which I'll never forget. That was like, oh my God, we were all crying. I'll never forget that day. And that was like a part of the healing. Like, I'll never forget that game when he hit that home run, like down in the game, and all of a sudden he hits this home run, and it was like you couldn't even have written it as a better movie, honestly. Big guy.
I just feel and I've seen the documentaries and like, but the people, the innocent people in those buildings, and just that I've heard. There's been phone calls that I've seen on social media of people. They're like,
bro,
dude, it's, and I've listened to them because it's like you want it, like you can't not listen to them. It's like once you start listening, and like they not knowing, but like when you see people like to me the craziest thing is like when the best option is jumping from the top of those towers to your death.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, but how bad, like that black smoke and like the heat and the fire, like that just pure hell. Like I and like I try not to think about it as much as possible, which I don't think anyone wants to. When you think it's just it's crazy, man. It's just
and also the Pentagon thing happened that day, right? Like where they and then in Pennsylvania, Was that the Pentagon in Pennsylvania? No. They also crashed a plane in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
And those brave people on the plane fought back. Remember? Do you remember that?
I remember hearing that. Yeah.
They fought back on the plane, and the man, I love, not that I love that it happened, but
no, but yeah,
they stopped them from doing even more damage.
And yeah, that's what I mean. Who knows how much? Like it was. It's just crazy. I've always though, and there's a lot of questions surrounding everything, but like with that. But at the end of the day, though, the innocent people, that's the worst part. No matter what.
Yeah.
With all of it, regardless of what our beliefs are, of why it happened, or
what happened.
It's it's still the result was the same of people suffering, and that's what sucks more than anything. Like Zelina Vega, her father was involved in that, and
yes, I saw that.
Yeah, so like people like that. That's why like today's for those people that were impacted. That like people directly's lives were completely changed forever on that day with that, and that. Whereas, like I said, I'm far removed from it being involved, but it very well could have happened to any one of us. Or like, it's just an attack on our country and just our freedoms and everything. Just like you don't think that you're going to go to work and like nobody would predict that was ever going to happen with that,
Nobody. And like the stories you hear, like even two of my dad's cousins worked there, and they were late to work. They were on the ferry as it happened.
Wow.
They were on the ferry as it happened, and you hear stories like that, and you're like, oh my God, like I just couldn't even imagine it, man. It gives me the chills. And
two people like that just being blessed as far as being watched over. That's how you like. What are the odds?
1,000%. Yep.
I think there was even somebody. If I'm not mistaken, there's a story I saw going around. Michael Jackson was supposed to have a meeting in one of the towers. Did you ever hear that story?
I did not.
Michael Jackson was supposedly supposed to have a meeting, and for whatever reason, it got canceled. But he was supposed to be in the towers at the time that it happened, had the meeting not been canceled. And like that, I've got to go back and look. I remember when I saw it, though, it didn't seem like it was made up, but you never. Obviously, you never know. Yeah. But it seemed. But how many stories of that are there with people that were supposed to be in there that for whatever reason called in sick or something happened? It's like, you would. There's not a day in your life you're probably not going to think about that.
Yeah, absolutely.
That whole scenario, but man.
Yeah, we had to bring that up because it's obviously, But I got one beef for you, big guy.
Oh, here we go. Let's go.
Wendy's fries are the best fries. Are you out of your mind? Wendy's fries are the worst.
No, those fresh cut potatoes.
The ones in the action. The fries. I'll give you credit. The fries that you get in the casing with the plastic.
That's what those were. That's what they were piping hot. So but they use Wendy's whenever. I remember I lived in Tampa when they switched. They switched to the potato cut fries with the sea salt. But like this batch that I got with the queso fries were piping hot, fresh made fries with fresh, piping hot queso on them. They were so good, Shawnee. They were little guy.
It doesn't happen to you where they like every time, like if I bought the regular fries that I'll get with a meal, right, in the paper thing, those are delicious. I love those fries. But when I buy like a chili cheese fries from Wendy's or anything where they have to put a case on it, it's like crinkled up skinny fries. You don't get those?
No, they were the thick cut potato fries.
I swear to God, big guy, I'll send you a picture. It's like two different fries that they use. It's weird.
That must be a New York thing.
I guess I'll send you pictures next time I get.
Yeah, I wanted that. These were some of the best fries that I've ever had.
See, that's what my hope was, that it would be the regular fries, because I do like their regular fries. But to say, even with their regular fries, big guy, McDonald's is the best fries.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not. No, McDonald's has great fries as well. Those things like those, those fries will last an eternity. Also, those things don't go bad. You could leave those.
What's your favorite fries, big guy, if you had to put them on a scale?
Man, I tell you, I really, really like Jack in the Box fries.
I never had
they have just a slightly different taste. fresh, hot Jack in the Box fries are a thing of beauty. I give it to you. McDonald's fries, I think,
New York. I don't.
There's a few places, but like I tell you, Wendy's is never like when if they have the right amount of sea salt on them, those they hit just right. But like if Wendy's, if they don't have the amount of sea salt on them, they could be a little bland with it. So it's like it's dependent.
Yes.
But like that's why, and I think your McDonald's, I think, is a good call because they have that distinct flavor. Jack in the Box is the same way for me. Jack in the Box has just a different flavor on their fries.
It's not in New York, big guy.
Yeah, so that you're gonna have to get that on the list of things to try.
I will. I'm gonna put them on the list.
They've got curly fries as well, but I just like their regular. I like both.
I like the curly fries.
But the regular fries. Oh, if they make them fresh for you right there, you get there just at the right time.
It's all. I just put it on the list to try.
It's
on the list.
Yeah.
It's on the list.
Man, I went to the UFC fights this weekend. Congratulations to Sean Strickland, by the way, for defeating Adesanya. And then,
yes, I saw the clips of it. Yes.
We because Bree has to watch the fights for her podcast, so she talks like she needs to keep up on everything with it. And like we were talking earlier in the day, and like I ordered a lot of the UFC fights because I've got the UFC Fight Pass. But like she was even saying they were talking about like her co-host, they didn't want to pay for this because the card was a pretty underwhelming card overall. And like I even said, I don't buy the fights if they don't have a really strong card because they charge $80 an event for those now. And on top of the Fight Pass, you got to pay for like 10, 11, 12 bucks a month on that as well.
$80?
There's actually talk that UFC Endeavor, they're going to take the same format, and I don't know if they're going to charge 80. But I've heard rumblings that Endeavor's either through ESPN or eventually creating their own network like WWE Network, but under Endeavor, where they have all access pass for UFC and WWE, and then charging for the events. Like it's not going to be what WWE did before with like for the low cost. It's going to be because the formula has worked for UFC. They're making more money than ever. But I won't buy the cards that are weaker cards overall, even if I want to see a particular fight. I don't like. I say I buy like maybe half of them throughout the year. Like the other ones that are the weaker cards, I don't reward them on those. I'm like, so she was like, yeah, they were talking about that. I go, Buffalo Wild Wings just down the road. They have them all in there. I go, if we get there, and then I go, we could watch them. And she's like, oh, let's go do that. So. Dude, we went to Buffalo Wild Wings and we got there like maybe like 30 minutes before the fight started where the prelims were still on and the place wasn't packed at all. And we go, man, this is crazy. People, though the last two fights were the two fights that people wanted to see on the event. And the rest of them were names that not a lot of people knew overall, like as far as more casual, hardcore people obviously probably knew, but it wasn't as strong of a card overall, even though it was a great fight all night actually. But so we got great seats. And then the place got packed later. People came later as we got closer to those last two fights. People came in there. And so anyways, we ordered and watched the fights. Fans, two fans, they came paid for our entire meal with it and recognized me. And then brother probably took like 25 photos. People, because like once you take a photo with one person, like she just goes, wow, this is pretty crazy. I go, yeah, this is what happens when I go out in public. But like, like once you like people know it's okay to come over. So all night families and kids kept coming over and taking photos with me. And I'm like,
I see. Like it's like a domino effect.
Yeah, we sat there probably until that guy paid for the meal because we were kind of in a corner section where there was like there were people couldn't see the section from all over the restaurant. But once we started, I started standing up taking pics. The floodgates open and people. But it was cool, man. I I didn't mind at all,
bro.
So
you
with
gotta,
that,
you gotta try the Mountain Dew they have there. I'm a big Mountain Dew guy, and they have it's called Mountain Dew Legend, and it's only in Buffalo Wild Wings. You cannot buy it.
Really?
Yeah, you gotta try it, big guy. Next time you go.
I'm not a big sugar drinker like that, but
sorry.
I know, but I could just get it. I told Bree, I go, man, we should have. I go, and I got all my food and stuff, and she got a drink, and she ordered food later. But I go, man, if I would have known they were paying for it, I would have ordered so much more. But the guy, it was the bill. It was I'd already ordered the bulk of the food because I was going to order more later, anyways, because that was just to start off with it and everything. I go, oh man, we could have really hit the jackpot on this one. Ordered all the Breeze drinks and foods for the whole day, and it'd been set.
Man, that was funny.
But people are cool, man. Like with that, that's always. And she goes, does this happen like a lot? And I go, yeah, a lot. Like whenever I go out in public, I go, people come up to me. I go, I still got it. I go, I haven't been on TV in 7.5 years. I go, that lets me know, dude, little kids that didn't even know that I wrestled, like they shouldn't know, literally coming over going, hey, Ryback. And I just go, I like look at Bree and I go, I still got it.
You know what would be a good rip, big guy? If we film, have somebody film us, and we go out, right, like in a restaurant or something, and when people come over and say, hey, are you Ryback? And then all of a sudden you go, no, that's Ryback.
And you're wearing a Ryback Rules tank top? I have,
yes.
And I'll be wearing the big sausage shirt. I'll have the sausage shirt with it.
Yeah, that's Ryback. He let himself go.
And you're just constantly just saying #hungry, #hungry. Feed me more.
Oh my God! Because some people they'll see like famous people taking pictures and they don't know who the people are, but they'll take a picture anyway. So like, I bet you we could confuse a couple people and
no doubt
they wouldn't know.
Although I would, it is harder with me. There, I still look pretty much like me though. That's the only problem.
Of course,
I haven't I haven't let myself go to the point where it's like where people. But I always laugh when I've seen photos of people that post them. Like, hey, just met. This was back like when Michael was still alive. Hey, I always thought I took a picture with Michael Jackson, and it was an impersonator. Yeah, and like, but they were a kid and they didn't realize, and then like they grow up to realize, hey, man, this guy got me. That's why it was.
That happens back then, like with a lot of birthday parties. I think even Cardona mentioned it. His dad hired someone to dress up as Sting and Macho Man, and they showed up to the party.
Just like it's heartbreaking though once you figure out like it's I guess it's innocent as a parent doing it if you think that like.
Of course.
But this day and age with social media, they're going to find out really quickly.
No, right away. I think even growing up as like I would have noticed too, right? Like I know that's not. Well, Sting is weird because he has the face paint. But like maybe you could get away with that. But like a regular wrestler, no way. You know?
I would have definitely bought it. I was pretty gullible. I thought the Santa Clauses at the mall were real. I for the longest time I thought they just. I was so innocent as a kid. I thought they happened to like, the Santa's just came to hang out at the Meadows Mall today, and of all the malls in America and the world, he came to our mall today, and he's real. And I'm going to tell him everything that I want because I was a good boy.
and then you see movies when you grow older, and they're all drunks and like.
Yeah, it's like Bad Santa's one of my favorite movies of all time.
Bad Santa, that's it. Yep, Bad Santa. And what's that movie? A Christmas Story.
Mm-hmm.
That part in the Christmas Story where they kick him down the slide, that traumatized me for life.
There's so many classics, man, from growing up that I feel like
so many.
I don't know, like movies. I feel, and I don't watch as many as I used to, but I feel like there's not as many quality good movies as there used to be.
There's not, absolutely not. And there's a different, it's not, I feel, you know what, especially with sitcoms, I find as well, where like every show used to teach a lesson, like, Family Matters, like, there was, like, I remember one episode, which really hit me hard, like Carl, didn't want to become
Carl Winslow, the OG big guy.
Carl's the OG big guy. What's the son's name again? Big guy?
Not Urkel.
I can't believe it's slipping my mind.
Not Theo. That's Cosby.
I'm so disappointed in myself that I can't remember.
I know who you're talking about too.
But he didn't want to become a cop, and Carl was a cop, and the lesson of that show was like, he's like, I still love you even if you don't become a cop. Eddie, thank you.
Thank you to the chat, Master Splinter. Thank you.
Thank you, chat. So Eddie Winslow. And at the episode ends with them hugging, and he's saying, "I love you no matter what." And like that was a lesson, and that like was relatable to my life. So
yep.
like even in Fresh Prince, like one of my favorite episodes is where he says, "How come you didn't want me, man?" You when his dad leaves. Do you remember that episode, big guy?
I remember I've watched that religiously as well. I don't know.
So Will's dad comes in.
Yes, I remember he comes and visits, right?
He comes and visits
Yeah.
once in a while, but he always promises him things,
Mm-hmm.
and then he'll back out of it. So he promised Will
I remember
during the stay that he was going to take him, and they were going to go on the road, and they were going to see all these places.
Yes.
And then I love Uncle Phil so much.
Yeah,
I swear to God, I love Uncle Phil. And Uncle Phil, he comes in and he sees the dad packing his bags and looking to leave. And Uncle Phil goes, "Where are you going?" And he goes, and he starts like mumbling his words, and he's like, "You're gonna do this to this kid again? This kid that." And then Uncle Phil like lets him have it. Like, "You're not a man. Like, you're not a."
He like really gets angry. I remember Uncle Phil got really angry. I remember being a little scared when I was a kid because Uncle Phil was pretty big.
Angry.
Yeah.
And he goes, "You get out of my house right now, and you never come back."
Yep.
And then he leaves. Will comes in all happy with his bags.
That's
right. Like, "Come on, Dad, let's go." And then he says he goes, "How come he doesn't want me, man?" And he starts crying. He goes, "I learned to drive by myself. I learned to play basketball myself. You weren't even there for a goddamn birthday." And then he starts crying.
Yeah.
Phil hugs him, and it zooms into the statue. And it's honestly, I think it's probably my favorite scene of all time.
That was a powerful scene. I remember that. I know exactly. Stuff, I know what you mean. Just like things where you learn lessons, though, about like life throughout the shows. All of them, they all did that. It was a different time, like with that.
Yes.
But I don't know. I feel like too, though, with just like holiday movies, everything. I would like to see The Rock do like a Samoan Santa movie. Just like he plays an undercover Santa Claus.
That would be actually pretty good.
I don't know why it just popped in my head. I kept thinking Samoan Santa. I just want to see
an animation, big guy, or would you do it
real movie. But it has it's a comedy / thriller. Where Dwayne Johnson has to go undercover as Samoan Santa to uncover for the bad Santa heist. But this is a more for undercover Santa mall heist, but in a more serious way. And he's playing Santa throughout that, but he's a kick-ass Santa. And
he found out the Santas are cooking the books from the mall, so he has to infiltrate them.
Yes.
And the only way to do that is to become a Santa.
And he has to go visit the various malls as Samoan Santa, but he can't let his real Samoan identity be known with that. So I'm telling you, I'm giving them layups here for the next.
You are, bro. You're making these people billionaires.
Dwayne Johnson is Samoan Santa 2025.
I'm about to hire like a stunt double that looks like him.
And then we could have Big Show play the little small person in the movie because they don't hire actual small people. So Big Show could play the small person to accommodate all giants as well, so they're not offended. Even giants can play small people. Big Show's his little small sidekick, but clearly just the most ridiculous Samoan Santa.
We'll get all the big guys.
Khali makes an appearance playing a little boy sitting on Santa's lap. Just let me be a writer. You guys want core memories? Let me be a writer.
Christmas, I love Christmas. I can just picture him dressed up as a little kid. I'm dead, bro. I am dead.
Samoan Santa. I'm going to work on this. Come up with some more ideas. Get this. Send the screenplay over to Dwayne. I'm going to get that over to him ASAP. We just got to get a writing team on board with this and production team and get this going for next year.
I know we can't choose our race or whatever, right? But if we could choose a race,
well, I mean that's the old grown. Nowadays, you can choose anything. What are you talking about?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
You can wake up and just click whatever box you want, and if anybody argues with you, they're the bad people.
That's it. I am identifying from this day on. I am Samoan Shawnee.
Samoan Shawnee. The Samoan sausage.
That's it. Imagine if I come out with a freaking tribal tattoo.
Just a tribal tattoo with a sausage in the middle.
Oh man, did you watch football, big guy?
Oh, I watch football. I watched some of the morning games, and then I went and got all my stuff done. Big sauna and training session, and then came back and watched some of the night game.
Oh, nice. Yeah, the Packers did great. Jordan Love was excellent. It's only one game, obviously.
I think I went 9 because I put my picks yesterday. I went 9 and 5 on my picks yesterday, and I've got today.
Pretty good.
I went there were a few upsets, and the Bengals got smoked by the Browns. I don't think anybody saw that happen.
I had Joe Burrow on my fantasy team. Negative 1 point.
Yeah. Oh, they notoriously start off bad anyways, but they.
Yeah, that's why I say it's only one game.
You never know though. That could be, and people don't understand this. The Browns' defense looked unbelievable. The Browns have been tinkering the last few years of like being
the last couple years,
and like but man, a team with if a team has we'll find out as the game's go on, but who's to say Browns might have the best defense in the league? We don't know it yet. We don't know. That they could be that could have just caught
the Cowboys. They smoked the Giants. Nothing.
I put a tweet out that Zeke was the problem all these years. Zeke was holding him back all these years. Because Zeke, I'm no hater, but Zeke tried to take my Feed Me More trademark.
He didn't.
Years ago, he tried to apply to take Feed. He was going to take the whole thing with it, and I had to. And then because he was there's trademark laws on all this. He's a big wrestling fan though with it all, and he kept trying forever to do the Feed Me and trying to get it, and he was going to come out with a whole clothing line. And then there was a huge thing I said on my show.
For a touchdown. Yes, he would do the bowl.
But that's why he switched it up a little bit because so what he was trying to do is he just wanted to take the whole thing. He would have taken Feed Me More if he could have with it. He was trying to take the whole thing. So I talked on the show that I'd had with the wrestling with the Raj Giri at the time. I said, I've got to appeal it essentially with that. And luckily we appealed it. It cost just a small amount of money and he got canceled out because it infringed on my trademark. It was 2/3 of my trademark, but I got a lot of hate from Dallas fans saying you're washed. You're nobody. Give it to him. I'm like, what are you talking about? I own a business. I don't care what your personal thought. Oh, Zeke wants Feed Me More, guys. Let's just give him everything and let him just take it all because I'm not actively on TV anymore. Screw my whole supplement and clothing brand. Let's just let Zeke have it all because he was a huge mark for Ryback and he thinks he wants to be fed more. But so then TMZ called and wanted an interview with me and I just ignore them. I just literally block. I'm not talking to them. And then everybody put out articles on I'm going to sue Zeke, which I never said once I was going to sue him. I just had to appeal it with it. But I would have had to, if for whatever reason, if the appeal or whatever didn't go through, which I already knew that it would because my attorney's really great with all this, I then would have had to take legal action. But we never even got to that point. I just had to appeal it. But I remember I got hate from Dallas fans forever on the hardcore. Look at all you guys. How are you? Hi, that really paid off well for you. Let's supporting that guy.
Honestly, the big guy versus Cowboy fans is something I would pay to see.
And I like the Cowboys, but Zeke pissed. I go, the guy's trying to take my livelihood, and the people are mad at me. I go, wait, let's just take a step back here and look at this with a little common sense. With it, they're like, feed me more. It's entirely different. I'm like, no, it literally is the same thing.
It's like the story of your life, big guy. Like you do something that you love, and it's so innocent, and somehow the world finds a way to.
Yeah, it's my fault. Yeah, this guy's holding his back. He's not letting Zeke have Feed Me. He wants to he's literally taking the whole thing. He's a wrestling fan. He was a huge fan of mine. He just thought because I'm not on TV, he's like, well, I can take it. I play for the Dallas Cowboys. I'm like, no, it doesn't work this way with it. And I won again, but I won again, people. And then nobody covers the fact that I won. It was just always like, I'm like, but that paid. So I will take little shots at him all day long until he apologizes. I'm like, brother, just come up with something entirely different. Like I want more or something. I don't know.
Yeah, you don't have to do the same.
Like literally, like he doesn't. People have no concept of how to get over. Like doing a little spoon thing after you score a touchdown. That has nothing to do. That doesn't. Eating food has no correlation to football. Like as far as the Feed Me More is wanting more in life. That could be applied to anything with it. but I'm not actually doing a symbol of feeding myself more food. Like he thought, like he's eating a little bowl of Cheerios or something. Like that's gonna get over. No, it didn't work, and it didn't work for Dallas. And you held them back, and now they're going to be freaking great. I said yesterday, that last year, Pollard. As soon as I saw, I go, he's a superior running back to Zeke. I could just see it from what, like you could just see, and like so. And then Zeke goes to the Patriots. They lost, and Dallas smoked the Giants.
And Dallas killed them. Yep.
So yeah, and I'm back to being a Dallas fan full blown again now that he's gone. So.
How about tonight? The Jets versus it's going to be a great matchup. Jets versus Bills tonight.
Yeah. I'm pulling for Rodgers, man. I just want him to play well. I just want I want it to be a good deal for them.
Yeah, me too. I honestly, I don't have anything against the Jets. Their fans are I grew up with Giants and Jets fans, and I have to say, Giants fans are way more classy than Jets fans.
But they play at the same stadium too, right?
They do, yeah.
What a weird.
So the Giants, big guy, a lot of them are Yankee fans. A lot of the Jets fans are Mets fans because the Jets played at Shea Stadium for a long time, right? So that's how it kind of just goes. Usually that's the case, but there obviously are some people that are Mets and Giant fans and blah blah blah, vice versa. But the Jets fans are younger and they're rowdier, and they're just, some of them are just assholes, man. Like with Brett, like I just can't explain it. But like when Brett went to the like they all hated on me my whole life. Like Brett sucks. And then when they got Brett for a season, they were like, "Oh, Brett's the best."
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, like you just said you hated him for like 15 years. You told me how much he sucked.
The guy Gary Vaynerchuk, he's a big social media influencer, and he's a big business guy. Yep. I follow each other and know him and have talked to him multiple times, and he's a huge Jets fan. He's hardcore, like, but he gets like passionate, like he gets angry, like, and he's like the most like seems very cool, level-headed guy. But you start talking about the Jets, and that gangster comes out in him, like he just gets like just crazy with it. So
Gary V's level-headed. I brought every interview I watch with him, he's like cursing.
But he has a lot of common sense, and he's very knowledgeable. Like, but he does cuss a lot, but like he just cusses. He's like where he just likes to cuss with it, but he doesn't like. He gets more aggressive when you bring up the Jets. If it's like, if they lose, he'll put like a effing like really like he'll put a rant on Twitter, and he's just. Like where he's like usually pretty positive and loving, like he's always on the positive side of things usually.
Yeah, I used to be that way. I'm gonna be straight honest. I love the Packers and the Mets more than anything, but like I used to be that way. And when the Mets lost the World Series, I was devastated in 2015 to the Royals. But as I get older, I find myself not being as much passionate as I used to be, like in the way that I'll let it upset me for my whole day or a week. Like when we used to lose, I would literally be out of count for like a week and be
bro, I don't know how you guys, I've never had that. I'm so glad you're not like that anymore, because like what a horrible way to let like something you have no control over affect your life. Like I would be
exactly right, big guy. That's what I realized.
Yeah.
Like I have no control over it. Like, and I'm letting it ruin my whole week and my whole day. Like, and then like I used to fight with the Yankee fans as well because they're always coming at us. Yeah. And we got 27 championships in 1925. Okay, good for you, bro. People
are literally going on depression medication for like the season. I'm like, geez. Come on, guys. Let's.
I agree with you with this 1,000%. But I get it. Like a lot of people, they have like we spoke about this another day, but like a lot of people have their like escape, right? And that is most people's escape is sports. So they take all their energy and all their passion and they throw it into that thing, and when they don't win or something happens, they take it personal because they feel like they're on the team, and like it's more than just being like a fan is a fanatic, right? Like it's somebody that absolutely loves the team and goes crazy. Like I told you, these Packer fans, bro, like the Packers are their life. Like, they live, breathe. they see green and yellow at every stop sign and every McDonald's, like where they are, and it's their whole life. Like when they lose, it's everything to them. But not everybody has. We have more other vices and other things that we can put our our energy to. Right? Some people don't have the other things.
No, but they choose that because of how caught up they are with it. But again,
it's a choice.
It's obvious, yeah. But my thing is people are going to live like, I just think if they haven't, like, that, people are going to do what they want to do at the end of the day with it. And it's like I'm not going to get caught up. Like people choose. It's like if some people are born and they think that their life mission is just to be a hardcore Packers fan, and like that's their life mission. Like that was that was it. There's those of us that have different goals and ambitions and drive, and then others I've just got to the point if that's what makes them happy, and they're gonna not to say that that's whatever. It's just I don't care anymore. I'm just like people are gonna do, but I just think it's when you let it just ruin your day or affect how you treat people or how you talk, like overall your mood. It's like I said, they're legit people that have to go on medications like during seasons. Like it's like not that they have to, but they think they have to on that. And I'm like, that's crazy. Like with that, like it's so. But that's
my dad will turn off the game. I swear to God, I swear on my life, my dad will literally turn off the game if it's just like, let's say 2 interceptions in a row. He'll be like, Shawnee, I'm not watching it, and he'll just shut it off because he can't take it. He can't take it's crazy.
My dad, when I remember told you when I was younger, my dad would get mad, but he got mad because he was betting on the games.
Yeah.
he knew he had money because now he's chill. Like he doesn't get upset because he doesn't bet on it. He just and he never was like a gambling addict, but he would do the parlay cards during the NFL season or different things. And like, it was pretty innocent. It wasn't with any money ever that went towards the family. It was like, so he was he wasn't like, he didn't have a problem in that sense with it. But like, I remember like football games, like if there would be an interception or like he loved the Rams. So like he would bet the Rams a lot, even if they weren't good. And I could just tell, I always knew when he bet the Rams in certain games and stuff. And
you would hear him.
And Jim Everett threw an interception back when we were kids. I just remember just cussing, just screaming. And like, I would just go play. I would like I was like, I got to go play with my friends. I got to get out of here.
I have to say there is that feeling of like it's scary because I feel it myself when I do it. When you gamble and you're so intent to the game because you have something on it.
Yeah,
right? Like it makes you look at the game totally different.
Yeah,
totally different.
You're just literally
it's nonstop.
Yeah, you're that higher thing, just stressed and like the outcome and like depending on how you bet, like whether it's against the spread and like even if you're up, you're terrified that they're going to score the other thing and ruin the spread. Like it's just so you're constantly stressed. Whereas like that's where like I just watch games. I'm like I have nothing connected to these. I sometimes switch. I'm like rooting for one player and team that I'm like I need this. I want the other guys to do kind of good now for a bit. I just go, so I start rooting for the other side to like, come on, have something to at least look positive for you this game. And like, I would be a bettor's worst nightmare. Like, I'm just like, okay, Dallas is looking good. I hope the Giants go like on a 3-touchdown run at the end so they have something positive to go into week 2 with,
You would be a bookie's nightmare.
Yeah.
I guarantee you, if somebody gave you a lineup, you would probably go 10 for 10 every time. Just because you don't know. You're just like, all right, I'm going to screw it. I'm picking this.
I was actually mad at myself because I love the Buccaneers. I lived in Tampa for a few years, but when Brady was with him, I really became liked him more. Now that he's gone, but I'm rooting for Baker Mayfield to have a good season because like everything with the Browns and the fallout there, and then he played pretty well for the Rams last year. Yep. But he got to the Panthers and got traded wherever last year, or he was with the Panthers and they didn't do well, but they were kind of a mess. And then he went to the Rams. And actually,
he did well, right?
Yeah. And so, but he got the starting job in Tampa, won that this year, and then they beat the Vikings yesterday, 20-17, I think, with it. Wow. And I picked the Vikings to win. Yeah. On my all my picks online. I'm not betting anything, or they're just like just seeing how I do with it. And because I used to do those with my dad, I used to play the parlay cards every year with him. I used to get to pick me and my sister, so I always used to do pretty good on those with it. And but I go, oh man, I wish I would have picked them, but I was going by what I knew over. even though I like the Bucks, but now they go, oh, I could pick them more often if Mayfield has a pretty good season this year. So
yeah, I always root for the underdog. In my opinion, I love the
with
underdog
that, but
stories.
I'm happy it's back, man. It's just good. I just like having the games on, even if I'm not watching. I just like hearing the announcers. Like if it's in the house, it's like comfort. Like this time of year is my favorite time of year.
The music that starts it up, it really gets me. Like,
yep. But speaking of, dude, I love it all. It's like core memories.
Yes,
with it.
Yes,
I'm looking forward to tonight's game, though. I'm rooting for. I like both teams actually. I like both quarterbacks, but I'm rooting for the Jets to get this with Aaron Rodgers. I would like to see Aaron. I picture Aaron like on his what's the stuff called, ayahuasca.
Yeah, ayahuasca.
I picture like he had a nice ayahuasca experience, and then like he respects Jordan because he didn't get that with Brett, and he's like, I'm gonna go ahead and leave so you could have the starting job. I'm like in my head, I feel like that conversation happened. He felt Jordan was ready, and he tried to do the right thing, and like so I feel like I feel like he has good karma coming to him in a made up scenario.
I think so too.
I made the whole thing up. I don't know if it happened or not.
No, I know, but I can see that happening.
I can too, because if he had that different experience where like guys and like the guy's holding on or whatever, and he's like, "Look, you deserve this. Like, I think you're ready to go." And like I could make more money and go here and still have great years left.
Still have a career.
Yeah, and it's like the best. So like I'm picturing something like that happen, even though if it didn't. But
imagine like it would be like the guy who threw the no-hitter on mushrooms or on the Pirates. Like imagine if he goes out there and just has a perfect game on mushrooms. Like, that would be
the Jets go undefeated and win the Super Bowl, and it comes out that Aaron Rodgers was doing ayahuasca before every game. He was in his own locker room in the dark 3 hours before every game, and just came in and just ripped apart defenses. He could predict everything. He saw it coming miles away.
He brings a shaman around with him.
Like Russell Wilson had his own coaching staff with him. Aaron Rodgers has his own ayahuasca staff with him, just at all times, ready to go. Like he'll find he goes, right here, guys, set up camp, put the little tent around him. They make it pitch black, and he has a little experience.
He has a little experience up there. Oh, big guy, I'll let you go. I want you to take some more.
All right, brother.
I hope you have a great day, okay?
You too. I appreciate it as always, Shawnee.
Later, man.
But the other thing too, a lot of people, and I put the AEW Collision. I'm waiting to see what the AEW Collision ratings come in. But a lot of people, the ratings were going to be going down for them during this period of time with college football kicking in on Saturdays. And this is the one thing when talking about like why people were saying wrestling shows on Saturday historically don't do as well. It makes a lot of sense because you've got the sporting events always have Saturday games with it, but when college football season starts, that is a big thing. But those get huge ratings. Not only that, you have WWE events once a month or occasionally on Saturdays. With that, you have UFC events. They do their fight nights, and they every week I think on Saturdays or a lot of times on Saturdays. And then they have their one big UFC event every month on Saturday. So you're taking hits on that stuff depending on the cards. Saturdays too, like a lot of people don't stay home. They go out on Saturday nights. Now that maybe doesn't apply to hardcore wrestling fans as much, but like casual fans or people, they're not watching TV on Saturday nights if they're going outside of their sports fans or whatnot. So that's where like ratings were going to start going down for Collision during this period. Anyways, I'm curious because I know the week prior, I think was their lowest one, which was the first week without Punk. That was going down regardless because of the college football and everything going on. I just think that we'll see where they settle at with everything moving forward with it. But it is a difficult task they have on hand. I saw the Daniel Bryan is really, and Tony with creative is going to be heavily involved. And I hope to God they give him a good team and get some really, I think this is all that they're missing is a really solid creative team and coming up with character goals and in finding ways to start pushing people and telling stories with the talent that they have. The talent they have will get more over, start creating compelling TV. I'm okay having I'm okay if you still have a cold matchup every week and let two guys just go out there and kill it. Like the WCW used to have the cruiserweights just go out and have a killer match. Like keep that in there. Let two guys pick two guys every week to go out there to kick off the show or whatever point of the show you want it. But start telling some really good stories with everybody else. With that, it keeps the guys healthier longer, and it makes the matches mean more. It gives you can add gimmicks into matches and stories into matches and tell the match it revolves around that rather than having to revolve just around a bunch of moves and different things over and over and over and over and over again with it. And that's how you're going to start drawing people in and making the stars that you have bigger with it. And I think it's a really important thing. It's the only thing I think they could do a lot better at with it. And I hope, and Dan knows this, and I've talked to other people, they know this. I think Tony's a certain way. And I just think that they have to grasp this concept overall with it. And this is storytelling and this is TV wrestling with it. And you can still have what you like on a portion of the show, but you've got to create stars. You have everything in the world to create the biggest stars in the world if you want. And I hope to God, it's just, Wardlow. I made a TikTok on this and I've been doing a lot of new content and I appreciate all the love and support I'm getting on it. Booking Wardlow, what I think they need to do moving forward with Wardlow. And I think you have to have a clear, defined goal for the heel Wardlow. I think you need to have him back on TV. I think you have to have him wipe out Arn Anderson. Arn was put with him for political protection, essentially, from what it kind of looked like, to help to guide him. I think you need to start giving Wardlow promos every week. You need to start letting him grow a new identity as a heel with it and go on a huge tear, a huge run, but give him promos every week. Let him just get really good at talking. He will if you let him do it every week with it. And like, here's my take on it is, okay, we're going to turn Wardlow here. We're going to Wardlow heel. We're going to have him turn on Arn in a significant way. Even if it's not the first week, figure out where, okay, he's going to be back for a month. We're going to really, really, establish this relationship further on TV and then have him turn on Arn with that. And then he's going to let him explain himself and let him get really good at speaking. But the defined goal would have to be he's for MJF for the title. Like, this is just an example. So, as a company, we're going to build this guy to go. And the reason why he's going to go for MJF is because that feud with MJF, which he was arguably, or not arguably, the most over guy in the company and at his peak, as popular as can be, MJF, people would always say, well, he was the star. He was a star. So that could be his reason that MJF stole his momentum and opportunities in his head where that he is going to come for him. And then we can have a huge showdown with a huge monster, heel monster Wardlow, heel Wardlow versus babyface MJF 6 months down the line. But that, okay, this is where you need creative and you need people. This is the goal, what we're going to do with this character. We're going to make sure this character is at that point champion at that time. And we're going to tell this story. And then you have people that are focusing only on this story, right? Every week with that. And then you've got to have another story going. You're going to have, okay, we're going to have the Jungle Boy, Jack Perry. We're going to run with this heat that we're going to come back and we're going to have this defined goal for 3 months for Perry. And like, you need a team working on that with this. And then, so you need to do this 3, 4, 5 different things on a show with guys. And then you have to have undercard stories and things, but you have teams of people working on this. And that's where your creative meetings, this is what needs to take place, in my opinion, in which in WWE has this, but Vince rips everything and doesn't stick with things. They have the ability to go out and tell long-term stories and not have it disrupted by a crazy Vince with it. They could do this better if they get the right people. And Dan knows this, and I know Dan well. Dan is creative, and Dan knows this, but he can't do this on his own. Nobody can. You need a huge team of people. Creative needs to be the focal point of AEW with that. And Tony could oversee everything, but then when you have people working, it becomes effortless once things start firing with it. But if you don't have a goal, if you just say we're going to turn Wardlow heel and he's going to turn on Arn, but you don't have a goal and a vision for it, then we don't know what we're going to do with him in 2 weeks. That's where things fall apart with this. And this is where wrestling and fans get upset. It's just you have to have, it's like a sitcom or anything. You have to have a direction of the characters and where they're going, and you can fill in the gaps along the way if you know where you're going on a week-to-week basis with it. But you've got to have this. And I'm like, this is like why if I would come back and get cleared, I want to come back and tell one story. And I want a beginning and I want to finish, and we could fill the rest in with this. But I want to know the role with it, because if you don't know the role, it doesn't matter who you bring in or what you do. You could take all WWE talent and just put them on the roster. If nothing is going on, It's the same. Well, that's why Punk wasn't a draw. And I will say this all day because, and it's the stories. And it was the lack. They didn't do anything with the Elite, and they didn't do anything with Perry, with any of that. And I understand Tony doesn't want to go that direction, but that's the stuff. That's the drama and the storytelling and the controversy with it. And if not, you got to do something though. If you're not going to do that with that, and a lot of that was Punk though, because Punk doesn't want to play ball, and he's very, 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 very sensitive in a lot of ways with that. You can't be a pro wrestler and be sensitive with that. You can't with this. So I think they have the ability to do such amazing things, and I really am optimistic with it moving forward. And I think they're going to have their work cut out for them on Saturdays, obviously with the thing. But if they start telling compelling stories and must-see television, and not just like bell-to-bell stuff, which the bell-to-bell is important with the stories with it and stuff, but you can't just neglect one. And like, you need that, and that's how you create larger than life stars. You need everybody on the roster needs to be on TikTok and social media, plugging your shows every week. You've got a roster of 100 guys. Every single one of them need to be going. Yo, guys, tonight AEW Collision, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 Pacific. Whether you're involved or not, but hey, catch my match. I'm taking on Jungle Boy Jack Perry at 8:30. See you then. #hungry, feed me more. Everybody's using their social media, promoting a show. They need to catch up on all of this. They need to have creative meetings, get everybody on board. I'm telling you guys can do this with it, but you've got to get everyone. If you're a wrestler and not using your social media and not plugging stuff and not plugging your promotion, with it, I plug them. When I see people like, oh, you're just glazing. No, I want them to do good. I'm not cleared. I'm not doing anything right now. I just want them to do good. The talent need to want them to do good with it. They have to go all in on this. And they use all this talent that they have, whether they're on TV or not. Guys, plug the shows every week. Have a person send out a reminder to all the talent with all the text that you want them to send out in their own way with it. Plug the shows, plug certain matchups with it. I'm telling you, things could be even so much better. But I really like they have Brian and Danielson involved with this. They just got to get the right people, the right amount of people with creative minds. And I'm telling you, and focusing on stories within the organization, I'm telling you, they could be beating WWE with it, because it's just a matter. They have to get the creative aspect rolling, though. And I'm optimistic with it. I just think they're very early on, but that is the piece that needs to be strengthened. All right, let's get going. Another caller here. Taking a look. Welcome, everybody. Also on TikTok, welcome everybody to the Ryback Show. Appreciate you saying to return and defeat Roman Reigns. I've taken out the Shield many a times. Thank you. Chant says they need to hire you as a consultant until the shoulder heals. Yeah, I'm telling you, I just think it really, it is an important thing with it. And, I've got a lot going on, and I do think, like I said, I think you just got to get the right people and focusing on storylines with all the talent that you want to be featuring on all the shows. And it needs to be a focal point. I think you need a whole department for it. I really do. And it needs to be a thing. Jungle Boy Jack Perry. I want him on TV cutting a promo on and I don't care if he even says his name if they're worried about legal things. You could easily have him come out and get more heat than ever cutting a promo with it like a spoiled, entitled little kid. Feed into what people, just let him go, build him to a new level, use that momentum of Punk with it in a positive way for the talent, and use that in storylines and get him involved in another program with somebody, but there's ways to do it. There's ways to do it. You have to with it. You have to overall with it. It's just, we'll see what happens. We've got Messenger Pro. Bring Messenger Pro onto the show. Welcome to the Ryback Show. Anybody on TikTok or IG Live, you guys want to join the Ryback Show at Ryback on X Spaces? Hello.
Hi, Ryback.
Hello, how are you?
How are you today?
I
I'd like to talk about, we have a lot of good wrestler, but being a good wrestler, it doesn't mean you're a good person too. When I say good person, I mean about a connection between wrestler and fans. And no doubt you're one of the greatest in this category. And I can name another wrestler like Undertaker, Rey Mysterio, Chris Jericho, all of them very nice with the fan, just like you, very warm welcoming and always give love to fan and they receive love from the fan. And I like share you a memory also about from the past I had about CM Punk. And that was around 2010 and I was with my family in California, Beverly Hills. We walking just with my family and randomly saw CM Punk in sidewalk. So I never was a fan of him, but I like wrestling. So I say to myself, go and say hello and some respect, show him some respect. And we say hi, CM Punk, how are you? He just looking us like we insult him or very. Well, I was very confused and I didn't know what to say. We say hi to him and he was so rude and I still remember that. That was so embarrassing and
he routinely does this to people, by the way, just so this is not to say he doesn't have his good moments. I've heard of this over and over and over with him and I know enough and I've seen him. He's not this is why in the promos on the buying the fans ice cream and all the things, it's like I'm telling you, it's like the Bill Cosby effect. He's playing the good guy character, and people get caught up in this.
Yeah, I mean, he was full of himself, full of shit. Sorry to say that.
Yeah, no, it's not. I know what you're talking about.
He walking like he owned the town, and if we just go and say some respect to him, say some hi, he not even answering us, and he looking us like he want to attacking us. We insult him, and that I was very sad. And after that, I put him completely in trash. And that's the difference between I said that before, the good wrestler like you and some other wrestler like him. And that was I share today that memory today with you. And I don't want to take any more time right back. Just say thank you to you and God bless and goodbye.
Thank you, brother, very much. I appreciate you sharing that, and I'm very sorry that you had that experience. And there's a lot of people that, if you look online, that have had very similar experiences. And I'll be the first to say, I've seen people be very rude, not I'm just saying to fans, like where they can be disrespectful in public, or like where they I've seen them where they act in ways where, but like I said, if somebody always says something, you just say no, thank you. That you don't attack them, you just say no, thank you with that. And now there's a lot of people that will take a no, thank you and say, oh, he was the rudest person, he was an a-hole. But there's differences like when stories like this, and saying hi, and I've heard this with it, where he just he attacks or he very mean look or just whatever with it, and that's not uncommon. This is why those of us that know this stuff, it's the Bill Cosby effect, and I've talked about this, where you play that good guy character, and then people get caught up. And you heard other veterans and people, they go, sometimes, it's not all the time, because it's too vague of a statement. You can't pinpoint it to saying, like, not all the guys that play good guys though are good people, or the best people, you should say, and not all people that play the bad guy roles are they're actual bad people. It tends to be kind of reversed, and it can be a mixture of both as well. But it's physical acting. So at the end of the day, though, they're playing roles. It's like, hey guys, we're buying you all ice cream, everybody, yay! And then as you're leaving the arena, and that person that was so nice in the ring is going to their car, and you have your family of kids, and you go to say, hey, Mr. Punk, thank you for the ice cream. And he goes, F off, as he gets into his car. Like, that's the reality, though, of it's physical acting out there. And then this is real life with that. And oftentimes what you see out there is not always what you get and certainly not all the time. And there's always levels to this. Everyone's human. Everyone has bad moments. Everyone's a mixture of good and bad with it, but you want to try to be good as much as possible at the very least. And like I always said, like, you're better off just saying, and again, when you're dealing with kids, no thank you is not an option with kids. With it's you sign for kids, you take pictures for kids. With adults, it's a different story. If you're out eating and you don't want, we saw Cena, people recording them. Like, there's levels to all of this with it, and I've dealt with all of it, right? With it, but like, you're dealing with kids. Like, when I Buffalo Wild Wings, I stood up 20 something times while I was sitting down watching the fight, eating. Literally had chicken sauce on my hands. One of the guys came over, just happened to come over, just wipe off my hands. He went to shake my hand. I just fist bumped him because I had to finish wiping off my hand. But I stood up, took photos with him. And when the kids come over, Mr. Ryback, I stand up and take photos with them. They're kids. They don't know any better with that. You can sit there, and if you want to get mad and think, well, the parents should know better. But the fact of the matter is once you start taking pictures, and I explained it to Bree, I go, once you start, I go, it kind of opens the floodgates if you're hanging out somewhere, because then everybody's gonna want, because you're taking pictures. Whereas if someone comes over and you say no thank you, and people see that you don't take a photo, then they'll probably hold off, right, with it. But once you open those doors, and you got to know that. But there's always a good way and a bad way to handle that stuff, especially but when you're dealing with kids. Kids don't know better. You don't want to have you don't want to be responsible for giving them a negative impression or memory at a young age, right? Because it can literally, it's a very powerful thing. And I know that from firsthand experience. So, but it's unfortunate when people have bad memories with people, that are bad experiences with people they like. And, I've had people, and I tell you, I've been on the airport at the phone, and I've been on a phone. This has happened before. I've been on the phone. I remember there was a guy, he was an adult, came over. I'm on the phone, literally on a business call. And he's like, and he wanted a picture with it. And I just said, not right now. No, thank you. And I'm literally back on the call. Like, I'm focused. Like, I remember this very well. I think that was in Chicago, that one particular thing. That guy very well may, though, oh, Ryback was an a-hole. He didn't take a photo with me. Maybe I wasn't. I just said, no, thank you. I was on a phone call. I didn't explain it to him. I was literally in the middle of a business call with it. But so why didn't I take a photo with him? Also, if I would stop and then people are looking, I take a photo with them. Now other people might start coming. I'm trying to, you know what I mean? And I know this because I've dealt with it a million times. So there's levels to all of this. So with it, but like, it's an unfortunate thing when you hear repeated stories over and over and over and over and over with the same person. But it's just like, if I come back and I'm like, everybody, I'm going to buy everybody, guys, I'm anti-sugar. I'm going to buy everybody in the arena tonight meat sandwiches. Meat sandwiches, compliments of the big guy. Everybody's cheering, Ryback, 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 meat, 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 meat. And then Subway people just come in with the meaty deluxe sandwiches and just handing the meat sandwiches around the arena. I had them ready to go, and the meat sandwiches are being distributed for free, and everybody's cheering, Ryback rules, Ryback rules. And I'm just sitting on my big king meat throne in the ring, just watching everybody enjoy happy meat sandwiches. And then after the show, as I'm going to my car, everybody still go, Ryback, meat, meat, meat. And I go, F off. You guys got your sandwiches. You don't matter. Go home. Leave me alone. Then I'm not a good person, right? So there's levels to all of this. Meat sandwiches. I think I'm gonna try to get this done on my return. I'm gonna outdo CM Punk on my return and give the entire arena meat sandwiches. I ain't gonna just spend pennies on the dollar on some cheap ice cream. I'm not gonna help you get diabetes. I'm gonna fulfill your hunger with meat sandwiches. Footlongs. I'm not gonna go the 6 inchers. That's for jabronis. I'm gonna give you the full footlong. Compliments of the big guy. Meat sandwiches around the horn. If the moms get 2 meat sandwiches, all moms get 2 meat sandwiches. Compliments of the big guy. When I get back, we're going to shell out the big bucks on this. We're going to have the meat vendors ready to go. Just their carts are going to be full of meat sandwiches. Just fresh, piping hot meat sandwiches for the crowd when I get. That's what wrestling needs, meat sandwiches. I'm going to be the definition of meat. People, when they see me, meat, 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 meat. It's going to be a thing. What are we talking about? The Ryback Show. Moms love the meat sandwiches. That much I know. That much I know. We've got Primitive. Get Primitive Jeff here on the line. a Ryback Show regular. Jeff, happy Monday.
Yo, Ryback, how's it going, brother?
I'm doing well. How are you today?
I'm just sitting here in the car laughing my ass off, man. I can see it now, brother. Just meat sandwiches everywhere. Freaking Jurassic pork, man.
I'm so petty. I will burn an ice cream bar in the middle of the ring. I'll have a blowtorch and just burn the ice cream as I watch just the arena fill up with meat sandwiches as I take over.
Give those moms some long dong silver, man.
Oh, they say when back in my Skip Sheffield days, my phrase was choosy moms choose Jiff, easy moms choose Skippy. That was always my Skip Sheffield tagline. Uh-oh, Jeff is cutting out on us here. Are you there?
Am I okay?
I can't hear you. I heard just a brief. Wait, I can hear you now, I think. Nope.
Oh, yeah. Sorry about that, brother. It's a little bit spotty here, so.
I can hear you now.
How's your week going, man?
What's that?
Okay. Yeah, how's your week going, brother?
Oh, it's going great, man. I'm looking forward. We've got a good week ahead here, and I'm feeling better and better. I've made significant progress on the shoulder, so it's just one day at a time.
Nice, man. Nice. Yeah, I'm looking forward to, your full recovery and all that. And, just, what's crazy is.
Uh-oh. Jeff, it cut out again. I don't know. I just heard you, and it said, what's crazy, and then it went completely silent again on that. Old Twitter, Elon and Linda messing with the connection on the Ryback Show. Ah, man. We'll bring on Endalorian here. Hello, welcome to the Ryback Show.
Hey, what's up, Ryback? How you doing today, man?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. I appreciate it. Damn, I'm sad I missed Shawnee, man. I had a question for him actually as well. But you know what? Today is a great day, and you know why today's a great day?
Why?
Because it's the final day that Vince McMahon is the majority owner of WWE.
Yeah, we had a caller early on that was that had brought that to my attention. Unfortunately, I don't think things are going to change. I just think what I think is going to happen, they said, I think they're going to be hiring and firing people. I think there's going to be people released soon, and I think they're going to be doing new hires. I think that process is going to kick back off. That has been on hold with everything while this transition has been taking place. So.
Right. And I mean, I think you're right there. I think they will do a couple of, fondling of the roster. I hate to see, I'm interested.
Interesting choice of words there with that Vince McMahon, the fondling of the roster.
Yeah. But no, I'm very interested to see what they're going to do if, and that's a big if they do, decide to, fondle with the roster. But I had a question for you, man.
Okay.
What was it like? So let me see, what year was it? Oh, it was so back in 2016, February 26th, you defeated Luke Harper at a WWE live show. It was via DQ though. But what was it like? I don't know if you remember that match, but what was it like working with Luke Harper, man?
It was great. He was always fun to work. He was easy to work. I got to wrestle the Wyatt family a lot throughout various points of my career.
That was awesome.
He was always he was somebody that we would sit next to each other in the back if we were watching the monitor. Like, we got along really well with that. And he had his group of guys. I always I rode by myself, so I always looked forward to the arenas hanging around everybody. But I have my group of guys that Dolph, Wade, if they were on the show, or Heath, or those are guys I would be by depending on if they were always around. Luke was another one I always enjoyed. If he was by the monitor and I was just coming over, I would get a seat and sit by him. Like it was, he's just like, we joke around. And I remember, it's funny. I remember him. I loved wrestling him though. He was very easy and easy to work. And he was, man, just a great human being. Like like nothing, not one bad thing to like, not one issue on ever, like with anything. I remember I have a fond memory. Whenever I hear his name, it always pops in my head. Me, him, and Cody, where it was overseas in England. Harper was overseas wrestling Dean Ambrose, John Moxley. This was like where he really got the office's attention as a singles guy. He was having killer singles matches with Ambrose every night. And I think Ambrose might have been IC champion, or Harper. It was like I think Harper, it was during that period where he won the IC title briefly, I think. And I don't know if he was champion. I think Dean was, though, if I'm not mistaken. But I do remember he was having singles matches, whether the championship or not was on the line or there. It was Ambrose and Harper having singles matches on this tour for 2 weeks, absolutely killing it. But I remember, like, there was one particular time after his match, me, him, and Cody were just sitting there eating popcorn out of the same, like, they would always have popcorn for us at one of the live events. Like, it was so. Like, we would sit there and eat pop. We were sitting there, like, my match was done and all our matches were done. We were literally just all sitting there eating popcorn together out of the same thing, holding it, the three of us. And it's like for whatever reason, it's like a core memory that I have of us. Like, whenever I hear his name, I think of me, him, and Cody eating the popcorn. Because, like, we were joking around, like, I would take big handfuls of it, and, like, just getting our hands all over the place. And it was, but he was such a great guy.
Yeah. So, I mean, what's your relationship with Cody still like today? Like, do you guys talk that much?
We follow each other. I haven't talked to him since he got over to WWE. I just said congratulations to him, but I never talked to him a lot. Like, as far as, we lived together. We always, and we hung around. There was a period where when I lived with him and when he first got up to the main roster, and like we play video games all the time, but we in developmental hung out all the time, every day. Like with like, and he talks about that in his documentary of like being kind of like in college, we literally smoke and watch WWE classics on demand. And like, we were literally doing tape study at my place or one of the guys' places every night for 4, 5, 6 hours. We'd wrestle all day. We'd get food. We'd all go do our workouts, whatever. And then we'd all meet up at a place and we'd smoke and watch wrestling with all this. And that was like the thing. It was like, we had a good group of guys, man. And I was glad to be a part of all that. But like on the main roster, like, we didn't travel. We traveled together briefly in the beginning, me, him, and Daniel Bryan. On that, then I wanted to start riding alone with all of that because I wanted to work out for 3 hours a day. They didn't like any of that. So like I wanted to get my own food, and
with that, can't keep up with the big guy.
Yeah, not a lot of people do what I do on that end, and that's nothing. That's just they live different lives. But it was, we always talked at the arenas and that, but I never was like called him we never have with that outside of when we just hang out. But like, if Cody was around, we would hang out around each other at the arenas and stuff. We'd always talk and like, so, but there's a lot of guys. I don't like, I'm not like Punk where like tell guys if they're in I can't talk to you if you're in WWE. But like, there are a lot of guys, like I have my group of guys that I'll message or talk to, but I don't get involved in their stuff and they don't get involved in my stuff going on with it. Everybody knows what's going on with it though. But he's kind of taken on, he's in a different position there and chose to go back with all of that. And I understand why he did it with all of it. I think he has certain goals of his life. I don't think it's smart to do this, but I know he has a goal of winning the championship. And I think he wants to fulfill, and he's talked about it, for Dusty and Dusty. I understand why that's one of his goals with it. I'm glad it's not one of my goals with that, because I would never want to have to go back to that atmosphere for something that like that. But I understand and I respect why he's doing it, and I want him to be successful at it with it. But it's because there's levels to all of this. So I have a different life and a different mindset towards it, and I want to go a different direction. So
and when you look at Cody and what he came from, and his documentary was a masterpiece.
Yep, I agree.
And the Ric Flair one, oh my gosh, like Ric Flair, I can't believe it. I mean, any other person, like Ric Flair's Ric Flair, any other person, the stuff that he did, any other person you would think would be dead.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I think it's a shock that he's not yet. Like he's one of a kind. The guy survived a plane crash. I think that alone says, like, hey, you're going to be around for a while.
Oh yeah, you think? But I can't. I mean, But going back to the Cody one, like that, like I said, that was a masterpiece of a documentary, hell of a documentary. And when you look at that and what he came from, and the part where he said his dad, Dusty, they barely could keep the lights on in their house, he said.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Cody, wow, I knew about all of this a long time. Cody, I remember, Cody, that's all true. I remember Cody telling me this when we were in developmental together. He was at my place, and he like, that's how that story was so true that he on that documentary.
I can't believe it, dude. I was like, no, the American dream. That no way that's true. But then I looked it up, and more people were talking about it, and I was like, oh my gosh, wow. I mean, I would have thought that Dusty Rhodes was this, making him. He had a couple million under his belt at least.
Well, it goes quick though. All that too. I'm gonna actually do a video on TikTok for people explaining all the expenses.
That'd be cool, man.
And because too, in like wrestling, whatever you make, and when you taxes, you're paying 30 to 40% taxes,
right,
on whatever you make. So like that's anybody, ridiculous. If you signed, say you signed a contract for 5 years for $6 million per year or whatever, by the time expenses and everything and the taxes, like you be, depending on your quality of your lifestyle and what you're buying, though, you might be making, 2 or 3 million with that.
Right.
But that's on the $6 million contract. But that's why all these sports guys that have signed these huge deals, a lot of like sports guys go, like a huge percentage go bankrupt because one, they're not making what people think. They're not getting that whole amount. They're losing a lot of that. The expenses on the stuff go down tremendously with that, and the quality of your life, your lifestyle of your monthly bills. When you start making more money, your monthly bills go up. It just happens. You're gonna make different decisions with it, and so that happens. Like you have to make adjustments. Like if the money isn't the same, you have to make certain adjustments at some point with it, or everything. And I think what Dusty, and again, I can't speak on their situation, exactly, but my best guess would be is that he, from what I saw in the documentary, is he made sure his family kept the same lifestyle that they were accustomed to, as far as they're like the living in the house and what they had, so that, but the money was just drying up with that. But he was doing everything he can, so he didn't have to. Right. And they talked about he sold the Rolex and stuff, so he was doing things to make sure that they would have money, so they didn't know anything was wrong with it, Right. So but yeah.
Yeah, is that how much the taxes are? Gosh, damn.
Yeah,
are you
it's
serious?
A lot. The more you make, the more you give them. It's
that, and you know what, that's stupid. I wish it wasn't like that. Nobody wishes it was like that, but
I paid close to $400,000 1 year in taxes.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I've paid in the millions overall.
No shit.
Yeah.
Well,
it's crazy,
bro.
It's trust me, brother. When I saw that number after I go, oh my God. I was like, that was the hardest check I've ever cut in my life.
Yeah, I would shit myself, dude. I can't believe that's how much you would have, dude.
Yeah.
And compared to the wrestling fan like myself, obviously it's definitely not going to be that much. But I thought my shit was expensive. Damn, dude, I can't believe that's how much you saw one time.
But that's why I'm gonna do another video. Maybe I'll do it for tomorrow's TikTok in the morning. On taxes and expenses, so people have a better understanding, because a lot of people don't know like the expenses. I'll go into detail on of what those actually are, of why the money that wrestlers are making, it's nowhere near the money they should. But after expenses and taxes, it is. I'm telling you, it's not what people think. I remember when I was there, just go, this is crazy. I could be doing almost anything else and actually probably making out better than what I was doing at one point in time there. You can
go ahead.
No, sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, now if you return to wrestling in AEW, do you think you'll be making a lot more than you were at WWE?
Yeah, because of everything I've got going. I'm gonna have multiple $1 million streams.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like 1,000%. I can go in. I can go wrestle for free, and I will make more money than I ever made on my business.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
That's kind of pathetic that it's like that, because in WWE
I did well. I still did well despite, but like it's having a business and doing what I'm doing now is the ultimate freedom. This is why I can make more on social media than I could wrestling now when everything is right. So
a lot of people are like that nowadays.
That's why this is why I went the route when I to make the most out of the injuries and everything. But I early in my time in WWE, listening to business books on the car rides, I realized, I go, man, the money's not in wrestling. The money's in owning a business. With that, exactly. But I love wrestling and I always want to do it. But I have a balance now where I go, and I've lost my health, and I go, I never want to lose my health ever again with it.
Right. And yeah, absolutely. And that brings me to my last question I got for you. Then I'll let you go, big man. But what got you started into wrestling?
I grew up loving it. I just started like as a kid. It captivated me at a young age. And then my friends in my neighborhood were big wrestling fans that I didn't know. And they really, we would watch all the events together. We'd watch all the pay-per-views at one of my friends' houses. They would have the cable boxes. I'd watch Saturday morning wrestling and at home, and then just was absolutely hooked and always wanted to do it. It was just something. The moment I saw it, I thought it was the coolest thing in the world. Like everything that I love in life, like I love being like entertainment. I love comedy. I love weightlifting. I love the acting part of it. I love the adrenaline that it reminds me of playing sports, and that real adrenaline and intensity that sports so to me, it's just to me, it was my calling. Like of everything that I love of my life that I like to do day to day, wrestling fulfills that.
Absolutely, man. That's incredible. Thank you for sharing that. And boom, a legacy was born. Ryback, the big man, the big guy.
Thank you, brother.
All right, man. Well, you take care. God bless you. And I'll be listening tomorrow, man.
Good deal. Take care. Happy Monday.
Yeah, you too, man. Bye-bye.
Thank you very, very much. Get on a new caller here. I think we saw it. Oh, they bounced off. I was going to bring them on. Tom fell off. Bring on Justin. Justin for a call. Welcome to the Ryback Show. Shawnee. I see Shawnee in the chat for the meat sandwiches. When I'm giving out meat sandwiches, Shawnee's going to be in the crowd as well. We're going to get Shawnee with a meat cart. Shawnee's going to be handing out meat sandwiches as well for me on the big debut with it. Justin, are you there?
Yes, sir. How you doing?
I'm well. How are you today?
I'm doing just fine, Danny. Just making me some lunch.
Good deal. Having a meat sandwich?
I bet I'm having pizza.
Meat Lovers Deluxe?
Meat Lover Supreme.
Then you can't go wrong with that.
No, sir.
What's on your mind today?
All right. So, what was it like when WWE came to you with the whole Nexus idea? What was that like?
Did you say the whole Nexus deal?
Yeah. Like, how did that whole idea go down?
We've talked about that many times. They had the idea, WWE and Vince, after the NXT season, and brought us all into a room with Vince and John Laurinaitis and Michael Hayes, and I believe one or two other producers, and in Miami. And we found out the day of, like, we literally had no idea. We were at TV. They brought us to TV. We all thought we were going to go back down to developmental after the NXT show was over. And they pitched to us this idea that we were going to execute that night, and that if we did not execute it perfectly, we would be fired. And that was directly from Vince, like literally. And they gave us the armbands. They told us to put them in our pockets and don't let anybody see them. They then got us to a certain section of the arena that nobody was in, where we had to get dressed into our gear and stay hidden from everybody all night, so nobody knew what we were doing. We were not to leave this area until they came and got us. And they hit us into a location in the arena where we then made our entrance. And so nobody. Kind of like when the Hyder returned at WrestleMania. Yeah, they literally they protected this from getting out, all that we know of that. None of the other wrestlers knew what was going on, and man, it was what a surreal moment the whole thing was.
Now, do you have a current favorite WWE superstar?
I'm really happy. There's so many guys. Dolph's always going to be one of my best friends. Wade's always going to be one of my best friends. I'm absolutely thrilled Wade is killing it on commentary and very, very happy and in a good position there. I'm happy for Seth and for Roman with everything watching them come in with the Shield, and the amount of success that they've had. I'm very happy for those two guys. I think they're outstanding. I mean, everybody. There's literally I'm not like, despite anything I have going on with the company and Vince per se, I don't let that affect my real life relationships or what I think of. Like, I like watching the guys that I know wrestle. I think Chad Gable, man, I've talked very highly of him in the past. I really like Gable. I think he could be a big time player if they give him the right push with how they're. I'm really happy to see him getting opportunities with Gunther. Gunther's doing amazing with everything. There's a lot of guys I enjoy watching on their show. I'm happy to see the New Day, Kofi and Xavier still doing well with it.
Oh yeah.
I'm just Drew. I've known Drew since the beginning of developmental. Sheamus, I've known. I'm happy to see them still going and that they're still healthy for the most part, as far as being able to go out and perform. And I wish Dolph was on TV more personally, but
I agree.
I don't know why he's not, but it is what it is. So I know he's making good money. So I know that at the end of the day, it's physical acting, and he's making good money. So
now, besides that retirement you're wanting to do with Goldberg, would there be any other past WWE Hall of Famer that you would love to have a retirement match with besides Bill Goldberg?
Not the retirement match per se. I mean, there's outside of that match, all my other focus would be on All Elite Wrestling, pretty much. Not because I'm not going back to WWE. I mean, it would take the only way for me to go back to WWE, I think, is if Vince is fully removed from the company, and then Hunter and some wrongs of the past were righted with that, and Hunter would have to be responsible for that. But like I said, I don't see anything happening with Vince there.
Oh, I would love to see you in freaking you and Miro go at. That would be an amazing match.
We always had really good chemistry. Rusev, we wrestled a lot in WWE as well, so. There's a lot over there. I just think right now my focus is on what it's on. I've got to get healthy to get cleared, and I think there's going to be some great opportunities. So,
when you do go over to AEW, who would be your first target?
I would have to, again, there's things that I've answered that on here multiple times. Though I think that's going to be private meetings. We got to see what can be done on that. Yeah. But there's a whole roster of opportunities over there with it.
Now I know this has been going on all over social media. I just want to get your partake on it. Do you think WWE should try and contact CM Punk and bring him back?
No. I think it's a huge. The locker room there. Do you think CM Punk is going to come back and do you think he's going to take? Do you think he's going to be happy being under Seth, under Roman, and other guys that are there that are running the company now?
Hell no.
Exactly. So what do you think that's going to do to the locker room of all the great guys? Roman's a great guy. Seth is a great guy. Guys like LA Knight, who's coming up. If Punk was there with LA Knight, CM Punk would be doing everything in his power to try to ruin LA Knight. I'm telling you this, babe. This is how he is. He doesn't like, if he was in WWE right now with LA Knight, he would be politicking, saying things would be being leaked out on him because Punk was doing all that before. This is the kind of person that he is. And I've told you guys the stories. You guys, I almost want him to go there just so you guys will really see just how cancerous, because it's not going to go away. They might bring him in. I don't think they should, but again, that's on them if they do with it. You guys are going to find out. It's not going to be, ratings aren't going to change. Nothing. He's not going to do anything. It's going to be more disruptive, and they know, Hunter and them know this already with it. And the thing is they don't need him anymore. They already have other people in those places. So they don't need to bring him in. It's not, we'll see.
Well, I've heard the stories, and I see how he acts just by his persona, the way he acts on TV. That's pretty much the same way he would act in real life, if I'm not correct.
Yeah, I just think it's. I've said my piece on it. I don't. Well, hell, but they're welcome. If they want to bring them in, bring them in. You guys, I know enough people there where I go. You guys will see.
Well, I have talk from WWE. How are you doing? How's your shoulder doing?
All is great though, brother, over here, and I'm looking forward to just getting all the way better. So
that's good, mate. Make sure after all that hard work you do, make sure you treat yourself. Even if it's the smallest thing, you always got to treat yourself.
Oh, you know it, brother. I appreciate you calling in, though, and I hope you have a great day.
You too, sir. You have a good day.
Thank you, Justin.
Yep.
Enjoy that Meat Lovers Supreme Pizza. We've got a super chat here. Michael Rocco says, thank you. You say you made a post the other day about how Tony should suck CM Punk dry. I mean, that's maybe would have used slightly different verbiage on that to make sure he. I'm going to read that again. You made a post the other day about how Tony should suck CM Punk dry to make sure he never wrestles again. But on the flip side, you talk about wrestlers' rights. Not sure what side you're on with that. No, so I said that he should tie him up legally if he didn't have a no compete clause, or he attempted to, if Punk tried to take them to court, if he has a 1 year no compete clause, because people were saying that wouldn't hold up in court with that. With it, that if he had a 1 year no compete clause with that, because in being fired with it, that Tony would be smart to tie him up in court so that he could not go to anywhere until the court case was over with it. Whether they lost or not, they would keep him away and let him get older and keep him away and don't help out WWE if that was the case with that. I don't think they should just go sue him to try to just make his life miserable. And I don't think they would do that with it. That was if Punk tried to sue them for the no compete clause. But if Tony wants to suck CM Punk dry, that's his business. Okay. Jesus. I swear you could have worded that in many different ways. We've got breaking news here. Lee is saying CM Punk just stated he's done with wrestling according to the dirt sheets. Well, holy hell, I'm going to throw a party this weekend. We are going to have a hell of a party this weekend in celebration, if that is even remotely true. Ladies and gentlemen, CM Punk has announced his retirement, all for a publicity so he gets more attention. And he's going to be a fraud and come right back. Like I told you, this is why I've never retired, because so many people in wrestling just abuse that and just like, oh, I'm retired. And they want the old, I love you. No, please don't go. Oh, please give me more attention, guys, with it. And then they come back a year later, 6 months later, and they're like, I'm back. Yeah. You retire, you better make sure it's just once, unless it was for an injury and you overcame it, like Edge, things like that. Those are different circumstances. Appreciate all the love and support on all the platforms. Thank you for all the likes on TikTok as well. I appreciate you guys hitting that like button, getting me more likes on there, getting more eyes on the show on TikTok, the People's Podcast. What's the difference between my protein powder and other companies, for example, whey protein? Well, one, we use a plant protein. It's the vanilla mocha, high quality ingredients on that, great tasting. It mixes like whey. A lot of plant proteins are very bulky and very clumpy and they don't taste well. That's not the case with my Feed Me More Nutrition. I So Hungry. I just think try it. It's people that know I'm going to have my shake right after this. I put a little peanut butter in mine. I put it with water and ice in the blender and a little scoop of peanut butter. I actually do flax seeds and hemp hearts as well. Mixes perfectly. I chug that, get 80 something grams of protein, 85, 90 grams of protein. And with a, it's just, I think you've got to try it and just see the quality difference. If you go look at the other supplements and the amount of ingredients, the quality ingredients that we use, no harmful artificial sweeteners or colors. That's another thing. Most companies use the artificial sweeteners, aspartame and sucralose. We stay away from that completely. No food dyes, nothing with that. They're just superior supplements. Because I use this myself. I want only the best. I don't want to put inferior products or ingredients into my body with that. So it's an extension of me, my beliefs, and my mindset, where unfortunately these other companies don't care about health. They don't care about your health, and they're just trying to make money selling you whatever. They use cheap ingredients. They mark them up huge on it. And yeah, I stand by my stuff till the day I die. And the people that know there is a huge difference between my supplement line and the majority of the rest of them out there. We got joke of the day. Why did the soup taste funny? It was a laughing stock. Not bad. Not bad. Appreciate everybody on the TikTok again, hitting that like button, guys, keeping the show going and growing. We've got 7.7 thousand likes today on the Ryback Show on TikTok. That is very, very good. Thank you very, very much. With that, guys, we are going to go ahead. We're going to wrap up today's show. I've got to get a lot done here. We went 2 hours and 4 minutes today. I always appreciate all the love and support. We will be back again tomorrow. Check out my Feed Me More Nutrition on feedmemore.com. iTunes reviews are greatly appreciated as always, guys. Also, feedmemore.com, you get a free Finish It BCAA Raspberry Lemonade Electrolyte Matrix and a free shaker bottle with your orders, guys. That $65 value free on that just for buying any of the supplements or Ryback merch on feedmemore.com. I hope you guys all have a great, great Monday. We'll be back again tomorrow between 9 a.m. and 10 p.m. Pacific time. And until next time, my friends, stay hungry. Feed me more.
Hey, Rybackers, don't forget to hit that like button, smash that subscribe, and shell shock those notifications for the best supplements on the planet with Feed Me More Nutrition and all the latest cool new Ryback merch. Visit feedmemore.com.